This is Zichru Daf Simanim Gemara Bava Basra Daf Kuf Samach Ches. A little bit of a hard simin, but Kuf Samach Ches is going to be the Kuf is going to be the Karbon, and Samach Ches is going to be Pesach. So Kuf Samach Ches is a Karbon Kuf Sach Pesach. So the picture is going to center around our Karbon Pesach as we see a bunch of sheep over here on the floor. So what are our 3 points? Number one is we see this beautiful Talmid Chacham Asur Meir Abanan, and as much as he knows exactly which animals this is, his Karbon Pesach, Daf Kuf Samaches, he knows which one is his, but he doesn't know who the Kala is. And Amaretz is not expected to know a Kala, and therefore, Talmid Chacham, excuse me. So he takes along an Amaretz with him to identify who his Kala is, point number one. Point number two is on the way, he's bumped into by someone that said, is a smachta kanya. The person said, if I don't pay by such key, give back the shtar. Is that going to be kind or not, a smachta kanya or not? Point number three is another very cute Karbon Pesach sheep over here, that he has a shtar in his mouth, and a raised shtar. What do you do? How do you replace an erased shtar? So Dav Kuf Samoches, Karbon Sach, Karbon Pesach. Again, we have our sheep over here, that the Talmid Chacham, the Surah Meir Abanan, can tell which sheep is his. He knows which is his Karbon Pesach and Dav Kuf Samoches. But he has to take along an Amaretz to identify who his Kala is. On the way, he bumps into someone that wants to know, is a Smach Kanya, as he told someone, if I don't pay back the shtar by a certain date, you can return it to the lender. And number three, there's another beautiful sheep, Karbon Pesach, with a shtar in its mouth. What do we do with an erased shtar? So let's go a little bit deeper into our 3 points. Point number one is the Surah Meir Rabbanan is not expected to recognize a woman. He recognizes Karbon Pesach, Dav Kuf Samaches. But to recognize his Kala, he had to bring along an Amar. It says, Rav Yirmiyah was signed as an aid, and the woman claimed that it's not her. Rav Yirmiyah says that originally he said originally he also told the other Eidim that he didn't think it was her, but they said that it is, and therefore he faults them. He didn't recognize her. Said Abayim cannot, Eidim, cannot retract. However, Rav Yirmiyah could retract. Why? Because they're not going to carefully examine a woman, so he didn't recognize her carefully. But now that he's told it's her, yeah, that must be her. And another case, similarly, Rav Abba said, no, this is the woman, says Abaya, even though normally the Surah Rabbanan doesn't know. But if Rav Yirmiyah is saying that he does know, Kivin de Duck, if someone is precise, then Duck, we do rely upon them. And Abaya finally says, Surah Rabbanan goes to get married. He doesn't know. So Nedabir Mama Aretz Behadiyah, he should take an Aretz with him, Dilma Mechafila Mina, to make sure no one swaps his wife. Remember the incredible Siyata Dishmaya, learning Daf Kuf Samaches in proximity to the parashiyos of swapping Rachel and Leah. Point number two is he bumps into someone he wants to know, is the shtar in the mouth of the Karbon Pesach regarding a partially, no, I was wrong, and a smachta. Is a smachta work and a partially paid shtar, that if someone says, if I don't pay it back fully, return it to the lender, do we do it or not? Says the Mishnah, Mishapara mixes chayvai. The Hishla says shara with a third party and saying, if I don't pay back by such date, you can give it back to the lender. Do we take his words or not? Says Rav Yossi, yes. Says Rav Yehuda, no. What's the machlekes? Rav Yossi holds a smachta kanya. We believe his words. Rav Yehuda says a smachta loy kanya. Says Rav Nachman, Rav holds a smachta is kanya. But Rav Ami says, since Rav Yechla told us halacha like Rav Yossi, what could I do? But the Gemara paskins, we do not paskin like Rav Yossi. A smachta loy kanya. And finally, point number three is again in the mouth of that Karbon Pesach was an erased shtar. Says the next Mishnah's own shtar was by accident erased. He should bring Eidim who can testify as to the contents of the shtar coming from Bezdin Vaisin like Kiyam, and Bezdin will validate and produce the shtar, a new shtar that says the old shtar was erased, and here is a new shtar. The Brisa comes along and says, what is the text of this kiyam that the new Bezdin writes up? Is Zaknu leidusan shal eidim and imsas eidusan bechuvana. The original testimony was good, and therefore you can collect with the new shtar without procuring without proving the debt itself. Why? Because the previous Bezdin already verified it. But if not, then it will not work. So again, what are our 3 points? Our Karbon Pesach, Daf Kuf Samaches, Karbon Kuf Samaches Sach, Karbon Pesach. That the Surah Meir Rabbanan is not going to recognize his Kala. He'll recognize his Karbon Pesach, his Daf Kuf Samaches, Karbon Pesach. But he won't recognize the Kala, so he brings along an Amaretz to identify the Kala. Point number 2 is he bumps into someone that's saying he was Hishlish Shtar after partially being paying it back. Do we believe in the fact that he says, if I don't pay back by such and such date, give it to the creditor, a smachta koiner or not? The point number 3 is we have this Arei Shtar in the mouth of the Karbon Pesach. Tav Kuf Samach Ches, the Karbon Pesach. How do we deal with an Arei Shtar? Tav Kuf Samach Ches, the Karbon Pesach.